Let's talk to legendary Kings announcer Bob Miller, who's with the team now in Chicago. And Bob, it's really kind of amazing when you see what's happening to the Kings, especially in these early playoff games. They really don't get a lot of goals early on, especially for Jonathan Quick.
Well, that's right, and I just hope they're not wasting some outstanding goaltending by Jonathan Quick. He has been brilliant again this year in the playoffs, and the Kings have to find a way to score goals. You know, they've been losing 2-1. 8 of the 14 playoff games have ended 2-1, and the Kings' record is 2-6 in those games. So the Kings know that they need goals, and they need some of the big-name players to step up and score some goals. Otherwise, they're wasting great goaltending by Jonathan Quick.
How unusual is it to have back-to-back games in the playoffs, and does this serve to the Kings' advantage because they can just forget about what happened yesterday?
Yeah, they were talking about forget yesterday. Now you've played the Blackhawks once. You kind of know what to expect, and they should be better tonight, according to them. You know, years ago, Jim, you would play 4 games in 5 nights in the opening round of the playoffs. You'd play back-to-back, travel, and then play back-to-back again. But lately, there's not many back-to-backs. I think this is the Kings' first one since 2002 when they played Colorado, and they won one and lost one in those back-to-backs.
And, of course, Chicago knows that they know exactly how good Jonathan Quick is, and they know they have to get a lot of shots on goal in order to maybe get a rebound and get that in for a goal because he's so good at stopping the initial shot.
Well, that's how they scored their first goal last night, and as you know, in the first period, they had 17 shots on Jonathan Quick and still were losing 1-0, and it looked like maybe the Kings were going to be able to pull one out. I think if the Kings win tonight, obviously, as you mentioned earlier, they're going home where they have not lost in the playoffs this year. They're 7-0, and they've won 14 straight at home. So if the Kings win tonight, they have gained a home ice advantage, knowing they don't have to win here in Chicago again. So this is a very, very important game for the Kings.
Now, Bob, we've seen in each round of the playoffs how the physical contact gets even more intense as we get deeper into the series. Here we are now in the Western Conference Finals, and I would imagine that the Blackhawks are going to try and be even more physical with the Kings this evening, wouldn't they?
Well, I think so. They think that that's the way they need to play, and they know the Kings need to play that way. There's been a lot of talk about how physical the Kings are. In the game last night, in Game 1, Kings had 44 hits, Chicago had 38. Now, Dustin Brown led the Kings with 8 hits in the game, and for Chicago was Seabrook and Bickle with 6 apiece. But the Kings feel that they can even be more physical than they were in Game 1.
One final thing, Bob. What do the Kings have to do right from the beginning in order to make sure that they can come out on top this evening?
Well, I think come out with a better start than they had last night when they just didn't seem to be skating that well, and they weren't getting any shots. They were fortunate, very fortunate, to be ahead 1-0. So they've got to come out with a better start here tonight and get the lead again and play with that lead and extend the lead instead of 1-0. Hopefully make it 2 or 3-0 and play from there. But they need some goals, and the big guys know that they need to start scoring because a lot of them are in quite a drought. Kopitar, 2 goals in the last 30 games. And Richards 1 in 7, Carter 1 in 6. Williams is the guy that's scoring a lot. He's got 5 goals in the playoffs, but they need more balanced scoring.
All right, Bob, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon, and we'll be listening to you tonight as the Kings try and get a 1 game, or rather even this best-of-7 series at 1 game apiece.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Nice to get through to you.
Nice to talk to you finally, Bob, that's for sure. Bob Miller, who is absolutely incredible, Hall of Fame announcer for the Los Angeles Kings.